The UN human rights chief has said that Israeli attacks on hospitals in Gaza may constitute a war crime. Volker Türk was speaking in response to Israeli justifications for a raid last week that put northern Gaza's last major hospital out of service. The health ministry in Gaza, which is controlled by Hamas, says that 59 people were killed in Israeli attacks in the past 24 hours.
The Maghazi refugee camp in central Gaza, the day after another round of Israeli airstrikes. Medical staff say at least 30 people, including children, were killed there. Israel says it hit Hamas terrorists and a command center embedded in the camp. People here say this was supposed to be a place of refuge.
This is the safe zone the army is talking about. There is no safe place in Gaza. What the occupation claims is blatant lies.
Israel's military has repeatedly accused Hamas of using civilian infrastructure, such as hospitals, to carry out its operations. Hamas denies the allegation. The United Nations say Israel may be breaking international law.
And indiscriminate attacks on Israel. The destruction of hospitals across Gaza goes beyond depriving Palestinians of their right to access adequate health care. Intentionally directing attacks against hospitals and places where the sick and wounded are treated, provided they are not military objectives, is a war crime.
In southern Gaza, there were frantic scenes at a soup kitchen. NGOs say that malnutrition rates are rapidly accelerating towards famine. And with winter biting, this will only bring more hardship.
Today we are standing here at this charity kitchen. When there is a charity kitchen, the children eat. When there is no charity kitchen, there is no food, we go to bed hungry. Our children cry and yell out of hunger. This is the case with all the Gazan people.
Ceasefire negotiations between Israel and Hamas have restarted in Qatar. Something that can't come quickly enough for the people of Gaza.
Now let's speak to Amande Bazerolle. She's with Doctors Without Borders, and she's the emergency coordinator for Gaza for that organization, and joins us from there. Amande, you are in Gaza. Can you tell us more about the conditions in which the displaced families are living?
So here in the southern part of Gaza, like most of the families are living in very difficult conditions. They are in shelters, which in tents, but not always tents. It can be like makeshift shelters. So it's very difficult. It's very cold at the moment, and it has been raining. And when they are not flooded directly from the ground, they're flooded because it's raining inside their tents. So everything it's wet, and so it's increasing the risk of people getting more sick, considering the conditions.
Is your organization, Doctors Without Borders, able to provide any help at all?
So we're a medical organization. We're running hospital and healthcare services, and so far it's the least impacted in terms of providing aid, because we are impacted by the difficulties to import inside Gaza. But at least when it enters Gaza, the medical aid is not targeted by the looters. So we can still proceed, yet there is not enough beds for the number of people at the moment, with the targeting of the hospitals that you have mentioned earlier. And there's only field hospitals that are providing support on top of the very few remaining hospitals that remain standing in Gaza from the north to the south of the Strip.
You touched upon this, but let's talk about aid. Is any aid in significant amounts making it into the Gaza Strip?
No, that's a big issue, and that's why the people are in dire conditions, because of the access to the aid. So the aid is not entering in enough supply at the moment. We're trying every route possible, but there's a limitation of the number of trucks that can enter into Gaza at the Kerem Shalom point. So there's a screening process that is very lengthy. There's also some process that also preventing some of the items to be able to enter. And then when it's entered, there is more and more problems of looting, because the fact that it's so scarce is making the people desperate. So there is some gang looting that are happening in some ways, but there's also a lot of popular looting that are happening at the moment. So most of the aid that are entering is taken by the people who are desperate and not reaching to the distribution points. So that's a main issue. And we are prioritizing the food at the moment, when there's also a lot of need for the shelter, for the blanket, for absolutely anything. The clothes, like everything is needed inside Gaza at the moment.
Now, the UN aid agency for Palestinian refugees, UNRWA, is reportedly preparing to shut down in Gaza by the end of the month before an Israeli law significantly curbing its operation takes effect. Are other NGOs prepared to replace UNRWA?
Unfortunately, it's impossible for the NGOs to take over from UNRWA. It's way too big. We're relying on UNRWA for a lot of our supplies, for all the logistic, and they are like the primary actor for many things, for primary healthcare, for education, for distribution of food. It's impossible for the rest of the organization, so we don't have neither the willingness nor the capacity to take over UNRWA. We are just asking for the international community to support the revert of the bill from the Knesset.
That was Amande Bazerolle from Doctors Without Borders in Gaza. Thank you very much.